Good day, Kavibal, and welcome to our Learn at Home learning session. For the discussion today, the topic will be on developing a growth mindset and essential for academic success. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. Make sure you are registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.vibalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Share the video using hashtag LearnAs1PH as our official hashtag to our Vibal webinars. Experience learning. Kavibal. And now, to proceed with our webinar this evening, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker today. Mr. Jhonard Galicia graduated Bachelor of Science in Psychology cum laude from the Philippine Normal University. He also finished his master's degree in counseling at the De La Salle University. At present, he's currently working as guidance counselor in the University of Santo Tomas, where he mainly serves as the psychological testing focal person and the e-learning specialist of Counseling and Career Center. He also taught personal development courses in San Beda University and University of Santo Tomas Senior High School. He facilitated several talks and trainings in well-being, educational technology, gifted education, career education, and student leadership. Mr. Galicia is a young professional who hails from the province Kalinga and consistent advocate for mental health and equitable education. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Mr. Jhonard B. Galicia.
Hello, magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Good evening, everyone. It's another session for Vibal's group Learning at Home session. So before I start my discussion, I want to share my screen now. All right. So again, magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Good evening to everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in sa programa po ng Vibal Group Learning at Home session. I hope everyone is okay. I hope everyone is safe and healthy at the comfort of their homes, okay? So tonight we'll be discussing another important topic on how we survive these challenges and difficulties that we experience right now. So it's all about how we develop a growth mindset and as an essential key for academic success. In other words, growth mindset as an essential key for academic success. So this topic is, intended for our parents out there who are, tuned in right now, and to also our teachers, so that we can guide our children, we can guide our learners on how they can maintain a growth mindset, how they can maintain a good belief system that can guide them to have better behaviors, better outcomes in their learning. This topic is very relevant, very timely nowadays because it's almost 1 year, it's more than 1 year since we experienced this COVID-19 pandemic. So a lot of us already a lot of us already tired, exhausted, stressed out about this, unending COVID-19 pandemic. So when someone is, experiencing, a challenge or a difficulty, that's a special circumstance where they develop some thoughts, they develop some beliefs, and these beliefs will create them a mindset, So some people might form good mindsets, some people might form helpful mindsets, or other people would form unhelpful mindsets. So this time, I'll try my best to guide you to bring out the helpful and the good mindset as we face the COVID-19 pandemic. Most especially your children, our learners who are still continuously learning at home, trying to absorb the competencies that they need to learn from the curriculum that we have now. I know that they're also they're also tired adapting this new mode of learning. But again, learning is all about, partnerships and collaboration. So our teachers and parents out there, this is the perfect time to learn about how we can guide our learners to have a growth mindset and eventually to have better learning outcomes. Okay, so I'll start with this first slide. How do you respond to challenges? No? So pag may dumating na pagsubok, may dumating na difficulty, may dumating na challenges, how do you usually respond? What are your thoughts coming out as you face that challenge? Or you can, you can reminisce, you can actually remember how your children, how our learners respond to challenges, no? So pag binigyan mo sila ng problem set, binigyan mo sila ng task to solve on, and they face difficulties, how do they usually respond to? Okay? So most especially, most probably and usually, they tend to give thoughts, no? So may mga taong magsasabi, ang hirap, di ko yan kaya, no? Mahirap yan, I'm not good enough to do that one. Okay? Pwedeng sabihin din, hindi ako magaling. I'm not intelligent. So, I can't do that. So, may mga ganong tao. Yung response, may bata na pwedeng ganyan din yung sabihin. Hanggang dito na lang ang kaya ko. Oh. They assess their limits. Pwedeng ang bata sabihin na, this is the limit of the things that I can. So, I can't do that. Okay? May iba rin pwedeng sabihin na, di ko yan gagawin. Di nga kaya ng iba eh. So other people would compare themselves to their classmates, to their peers, no? So if they know that, hindi kaya ng iba, hindi na rin nila kaya yung task na yon. Okay? May mga tao din na paggawa na lang sa iba kasi hindi ko yan kaya. Okay? They see themselves inferior to other people. So paggawa mo na lang sa iba, hindi naman ako marunong, baka mas kaya yan ng iba. So are you this type of person? Are you this, are you having a child, who's also exhibiting same thoughts as they face these challenges? Or you have a child or you have a mindset, no? Na pag pinaharap mo yung difficulties and yung challenges, sasabihin niya, kayang-kaya ko ito. No? Nakakatuwa nga pag may tinanong kang bata, no? Ito gagawin mo, kaya mo ba? And they will respond, kakayanin. Okay? So there are also types of people who exhibit those type of thoughts, no? Susubukan ko kung anong makakaya ko. I will try my best. I will try the things that I can do. Okay? So may mga ganong responses din. Hindi ko pa yan kaya sa ngayon. It's, some sort of negative. But the important word there is, hindi ko pa kaya sa ngayon. So the power of yet, no? So yung may time factor kasi doon na hindi ko pa kaya, pero sa ngayon. So there's a hope, there's a chance na kakayanin ko pa yan in the coming days. Okay? It's, it's negatively framed, but there's a chance na kakayanin niya. Walang mawawala kung susubukan ko ito. Right? So there are also people na they will try to face challenges and difficulties because they want to learn from that. They want to explore what's inside that challenge, no? So those are different types of people when you give them challenges. Ngayon na COVID-19 pandemic, maraming kasabi na siguro na they are already exhausted, they're already tired, they want to give up about these things, no? Wala na silang pag-asa to pursue their plans. May mga tao rin na this problem is temporary, we can get out of this problem shall pass soon. So may mga iba't ibang mindsets that we have. But this time, I want to categorize these people, or studies categorize these people into two categories. We have people who have fixed mindset, and we also have people who have growth mindset. So when we say fixed mindset, these are the people who exhibit beliefs that their qualities are fixed traits and therefore cannot change. So yung mga tao na naniniwala na yung kakayanan nila, yung mga skills and abilities nila ay fixed na, no? Fully wired na sa kanilang brain, and it cannot change anymore. So naipanganak kong ganito, so hanggang sa darating na panahon, ganito pa rin ako. So those kind of people are labeled as fixed mindset. Or are you the type of person who has the belief that learning and skills and abilities, learning and intelligence can grow with time and experience? Sila yung mga type ng tao, no, na naniniwala na yung kakayanan nila, yung abilidad nila, yung skills and abilities nila can still change, can still be enhanced, can still be raised to higher levels of abilities. So these are the type of people who exhibit the growth mindset. Okay? So saan ka kaya dyan? Are you the fixed mindset person? Are you the person who has a growth mindset? No? Or you can also reflect, no? Yung anak ko kaya, most of the reactions ba niya ay gearing towards fixed mindset, or most of his or her reactions are geared toward growth mindset? You know, I want you to understand that fixed mindset and growth mindset is a continuum, no? Pag sinabi natin continuum, nagsimula sa mababang level up to the highest level, no? Pwedeng nagsimula ka ngayon na fixed mindset, then you develop that mindset that will become into a growth mindset. So hindi siya dichotomy. Pag sinabi ka natin kasing dichotomy, it's whether you have it or not. Okay? So kung fixed mindset ka, hindi ka na growth mindset. Pero pag sinasabi natin continuum, pwede na nagpo-progress from fixed mindset towards growth mindset. So yan yung goal natin ngayon. If you know that you're the type of person who exhibits some behaviors, some thoughts towards fixed mindset, let's embrace it now, that you will also work on it and eventually will become the type of person who exhibits thoughts and behaviors that are geared towards growth mindset. Okay. This is an infographic lifted from the research studies and the articles wrote by Dr. Carol Dweck. So Dr. Carol Dweck is the main researcher who studied a lot about mindsets, about growth mindsets, the psychology of growth mindset, or the importance of mindset in learning. So she had a lot of studies and works about this. And we have this infographic for us to have a better understanding of the difference between these two, how they face the challenges, how they face, how they view things, okay? So let's start with fixed mindset. It says here that intelligence is static. So when we say static, hindi nagbabago, no? Hindi gumagalaw. If you are having fixed mindset, ang alam mo na yung talino ng tao, yung abilidad ng tao ay hindi nagbabago, hindi gumagalaw, hindi bumababa, hindi rin tumataas. And it leads to a desire that they look smart. Okay? So, yung fixed mindset daw na tao, they have that desire na whatever they do, their intention, their desire is to look good or to look smart in front of other people. On the other side, kapag ikaw naman yung growth mindset, you see intelligence that can be developed, kakayanan, talino, abilidad na nagbabago. And you see that, when you have this mindset, it will lead you to a desire na you have to learn, to enhance this learning. So, ang kanilang persona, ang kanilang labas sa mga tao ay they want people to see them as, continuously learning, continuously taking some challenges for them to enhance their intelligence. So, anong pagkakaiba ng dalawang ito? In terms of challenges, si fixed mindset, they tend to avoid, no? They tend to avoid challenges. Bakit kaya? Kasi they believe that when they have a challenge, most probably mailalabas sa kanila na they are not smart. Natatakot sila na ma-prove na they are not smart, they are not good. If we can remember, yan yung mindset ng isang fixed mindset Ayaw niyang malaman na smart siya o hindi, or mapatunayan na hindi siya smart. Pero kapag ikaw yung may growth mindset, they embrace challenges, no? They enjoy these challenges. They look into it, no? Kapag in terms of obstacles naman, si fixed mindset, they give up easily due to obstacles, no? Pag nakita silang walls, they see the walls as limitations of the things that they can do. So pag may walls, harang na yon, game over. Pero pag si growth mindset, nakakita ng obstacles, they see walls as bridges. They see walls something to penetrate. They see walls something to work on. So they try to overcome those walls, no, so that they can get the most out of it from that obstacle, no? How about effort? The fixed mindset tend to see effort as fruitless, no? Parang ang tingin nila sa hard work, tingin nila sa practice, tingin nila sa mga efforts ay, walang katuturan. Nothing more, no? But when you are having a growth mindset, they see effort as a path to mastery. So alam nila yung try and try, yung efforts na ine-exert nila. They know that those are the techniques, those are the strategies for them to master such skill. Okay? How about feedback? Ang fixed mindset, most probably, they ignore useful feedback because they think that feedback are just, are just targeting their ego, no? They see feedback as against of their desire to look smart, no? So binibigyan mo sila ng feedback, ang feeling nila, natatamaan yung ego nila, natatamaan yung desire nila to look good or to look smart, okay? But for growth mindset, they learn from criticism. So they get the most out of it, they listen to criticisms, and they get the key points of those criticisms and they apply that in their future challenges. How about for other people? No? For fixed mindset, they are threatened by other successes. No? So they feel sad when they know that there are people who are achieving, there are people who are ahead of them. Kung hindi man threatened by other success, hinahanap nila yung mga people who are worse than them. No? Naghahanap sila ng kakampi nila o yung mas malala sa kanila so that they would feel better about themselves. But if you're the type of person na may growth mindset, then you are inspired by other successes, no? Nai-inspire sila kapag may mga taong nangunguna sila. So they learn from it, they get inspiration from it, and they see na it's a possible path to venture on. So yun po yung difference ng fixed mindset and growth mindset. So kung makikita natin dito, ang fixed mindset, this is the limited person. This is the narrowed person. Parang alam niya sa mundo ay may limitation. May limitation yung kanyang abilidad, yung kanyang kakayanan. But yung growth mindset, ito yung taong may freedom na they can change, they can enhance themselves, they can enhance their skills and abilities so that, they can achieve the goals that they set in their lives. Okay? So napakagandang tignan natin, no? Napakagandang i-reflect natin kung ano bang status ng ating mga mindset. Are they the fixed mindset na limited? Or they are the growth mindset that gives you the freedom to embrace change, to embrace higher heights na pwede naman na talagang mapuntahan ng dreams and goals mo. Okay? Why is it so important to discuss, to remind you about your mindsets, no? Why is it very important to pay attention to your mindsets, no? But according to studies, makita mo nyo dito sa infographic, no? Sabi ng isang character, brain, look. So pinapakita niya yung mga good events in life, good information about life. Pero sabi ni Brain, not now. Can't you see? I'm busy, sabi ni Brain. Pero kung makikita natin sa infographic, saan siya busy? The brain is very busy paying attention to the bad things in life, to the bad information in life. Kung makikita mo kasi yung fixed mindset, pangkaraniwan, they tend to see, the failures. They tend to embrace those failures and the bad things, their limitations, their narrowed abilities. No? So, ito daw ay isang natural tendency ng isang tao, no? Na mas sensitive po yung brain natin to absorb negative information rather than positive information. So kahit napakaraming magandang pangyayari sa buhay mo, for example, you experience, ganda ng gising mo, ganda ng kain mo, sarap ng breakfast mo, and okay yung ride mo going to work. Tapos, pagdating mo sa work, nakasalubong ka ng tao na sabi niya, ang pangit ng buhok mo. Ang pangit ng buhok mo, sabi niya sa'yo. That's a negative information. That's a negative event. No? So, yung lahat ng magagandang pangyayari na naganap sa umaga mo, mawawala lahat yun, makakalimutan mo lahat yun kasi magdudwell ka na sa negative event na nagsabing pangit yung buhok mo. Now, that's the default of our brain. Pag sinabi nating default, no? Hindi naman ibig sabihin na forever na yan, ganyan na, hahayaan ba natin? When you have the growth mindset, let's claim na, it's important that we're aware and we're sensitive to negative information. But we should not stop from there, okay? We should pause for a while, then try to embrace na we can still look at the better side. We can still absorb positive information. Kasi we need it to have it more intentional, no? Dapat purposeful, dapat intentional yung pag-pay attention natin ng mga good things in our lives. That's why it's very important to discuss this because I want to remind you that there are a lot of good things that that happen in our lives. And we should take time to pay attention to these things so that we feel good about ourselves and we can pay attention, we can prove that as a person, we are not limited, we are growing, we are developing, we are changing. Okay? I mentioned a while ago that mindsets are the building blocks of mindsets are thoughts, no, or beliefs, no. So ang mindsets, they are composed of belief system, the beliefs or the thoughts that you have. And you know what? These thoughts, these beliefs can affect your feelings, your emotions, and of course your behaviors. For example, your child is doing a math homework. Sabi niya, ang kanyang thought ay, I'm not good in math, I'm stupid in math. Okay? So ano yung possible na emotion niya? Dahil negative thought yon. Ang possible emotion niya ay pwedeng, frustration, sadness, no? So pag ganun yung nararamdaman ng tao, it will attract behaviors like they withdraw from the task, they avoid the task. But kung ang kanyang thought or ang kanyang belief is that math is difficult, but with practice, I can solve it. Pwedeng ang feelings niya ay hopefulness, okay? And ang behavior niya ay perseverance, okay? They try to increase their focus, they try to increase their concentration to solve that math problem, okay? So I want you to understand that our thoughts play vital role in our feelings, in our behavior. Okay? So this time, I want to invite you to pay attention to your thoughts, to your belief system, and let's try to group them. Let's try to nourish them towards a growth mindset. Okay? There's a very important slide here. It says here that the concept of growth mindset doesn't claim that everyone is gifted or highly talented, but everyone has the capacity to grow and change. Okay, this is a very important slide. I'm discussing growth mindset not to tell you na lahat ng anak, lahat ng tao highly talented, they are gifted. But I'm telling you na hindi man lahat ng tao ay highly talented or gifted. They have the capacity to grow and change. No? You have the capacity to be more of who you are. You have the capacity to be more of what you are because you're not limited. We all have the freedom to change as we change our mindset. No? Of course, some studies would claim that, everyone is talented, but not everyone is highly talented in that component. Not everyone is really gifted in that component. But what growth mindset can assure you is that everyone has the capacity to grow and change. Okay? Ilang taon ka man, saan man ang estado ng buhay mo, just claim it and embrace it that you have the capacity to grow and change. Because you know what, dear educators, parents out there, when you believe that you have the capacity to change and grow more, nakaka-inspire ito. It gives you the hope. It gives you the chance to be more. It gives you the chance to develop, no? Na you can feel you can feel some sort of motivation that you can be more of who you are and you can be more of what you are. The question is, can we still change? Yan yung sinagot ko na kanina, we can still change. Pero anong basihan? Why can we still change? Sabi niyo po, pati matatanda, they can still change. Yes, they can. Because science says yes. Okay? Kung may paniniwalaan tayong unang-una, of course, the empirical findings in the studies, the science. And it says here that everyone can change because science says so. All right? How can we change? Through brain neuroplasticity. As a very technical concept, brain neuroplasticity is just, it refers to the physiological changes in the brain that happens as a result of learning and our interactions with our environment. Ang sinasabi po ng brain neuroplasticity is that the brain is plastic. When we say plastic, it's malleable, it can be formed to another form, it can grow, bigger. Okay? So it says here that the brain is neuroplastic. So it has the capacity to change. It has the capacity to grow more. It can change some of its physical aspects. when we learn and interact with the environment the right way, the right time. Okay? So brain neuroplasticity claims that everyone has the capacity to change because their brain also changes. When the brain changes, it has also the capacity to change our capabilities, our skills, okay, or the things that we can handle. So how the brain changes, I'll be mentioning some technical terms, but don't worry, don't pay attention to those technical terms. Just understand the essence of what I'm discussing with you. So how does the brain can change? First one, neurogenesis. Okay, I want you to understand that neurons are the brain cells. Okay, so brain cells are the building blocks of learning, the building blocks of skills and abilities. Okay, so when you learn a skill, when you learn something, those learning is actually represented by the connection of three or more neurons. Okay? So pag may natutunan po tayong skill, natutunan natin mag-drive, natutunan natin mag-paint, kumanta, these skills, these capabilities are actually represented by connections of neurons. Okay? So pag may natutunan tayong isang bagay, nagko-connect yung mga brain cells natin to represent a skill, to represent learning. Okay? So yung concept dito, sabi nila, the brain can change because there is neurogenesis. When we say neurogenesis, this is the production of brain cells, the production of neurons. Because the more neurons that we have, the more brain cells that we have, then the more cells that we can use for learning a new skill. Para hindi natin sasabihin na, storage is full. Okay? Because we use different neurons and brain cells to represent a learning of a skill or a capability or a concept. Okay? So sinasabi dito na the brain has the capacity for neurogenesis. Bakit po kasi nagiging trend ito? Early 1990s, siguro around 1995, studies claim that the production of neurons will already stop during the early years of your life, teenage years or before, at yung massive production ng brain cells natin ay nangyayari during prenatal stage kapag nasa womb ka pa ng nanay mo. At pagkatanda mo, hindi na mag-create or hindi na mag-reproduce ng new brain cells yung brain mo. But in the studies of the 20th century, it has been found out that, totoo na some regions of your brain cannot really produce new brain cells. But a certain part or a certain region of your brain can still produce neurons. And if it has the capacity to produce neurons, that it gives us a hope na we have more memory, we have more cells to use in learning new skills, in learning new concepts. Okay? Kaya nga noon, pag nauntog ka, okay? Or sinuntok yung ulo mo, no? Sinasabi nila it can cause a death of your neurons, no? Namamatay yung brain cells mo. We call that necrosis. When the brain faces some trauma, okay, the brain cells will die, okay? And kung namatay na, hindi na yun mapapalitan. Okay? But the brain, with the newer studies nowadays, it says here that we still have the chance to grow more neurons. Okay? Second, new neural connections. When you learn new skills, when you learn new concepts, it actually forms neural connections or connections between and among brain cells or the neurons that we have. Now, what I want to point out about neural connections is that, of course, may mga skills tayo na we are expert on it, we mastered it. May mga concepts talaga na we mastered. Pero may mga concepts and skills din na madali nating makalimutan. No? Isang araw, dalawang araw, nakakalimutan natin agad. Okay? Brain science would explain in a way that the connection of neurons for those skills na madaling kalimutan ay weak. Okay? Weak daw yung connections ng mga neurons, ng mga dendrites na yon kapag nakakalimutan natin ng madali or nawawala agad yung skill na yon, yung concept na yon, no? But we still have the chance, no? We still have a way on how to strengthen those dendrites, strengthen those connections of brain cells, connections of neurons through practice. Okay? So kapag daw nag-aaral tayo and we learn a certain concept, para maging mastered natin yung concept na yon, we should practice reading, practice doing it, no? Para ma-master natin. Because when we read, 2 or 3 times, the connection of the neurons are becoming more stronger. Tinatawag natin itong deliberate practice. Dapat intentional yung pag-practice mo. For example, you want to be a good public speaker. You want to become a good oral communicator, no? So for you to learn that skill, to master that skill, syempre, it's not enough that you read lang, okay? Nagbabasa or nakikinig ka lang. So after that, you should practice, speaking, Pag ginawa mo yan ng ilang beses, with deliberate practice, the connections of neurons that represent your skill about oral speaking becomes more stronger. I mean, it becomes stronger. Okay? So again, practice makes you a master. Okay? It will not make you, it will not guarantee that will make you a perfect person. But, with deliberate practice, it makes you as a master person for certain skills. Strengthen neural connections, same concept with the new neural connections I've shared with you. Nourishment of neurons through physical exercise. Okay, I want to inspire you that, neurons are brain cells. So brain cells are basically part of our body systems, okay? And, our body parts will also need nourishment, okay? For example, some people would drink, Memoplast Gold or any, neuron boosters. Okay, they actually trigger or initiate some processes of protein production in the brain, because of course the brain cells need protein to function well. But you know what? If you do physical exercise, more specifically with cardiovascular exercises, pag cardio, ito yung mag-increase ng heart rate. So takbo, treadmill, jumping, running, walking, those are types of cardiovascular exercises. And studies suggest that when you do cardiovascular exercises, it will increase the production of BDNF, no? It's a component in the brain that will also trigger the production of protein in your brain. Kasi more protein, more nourishment of the brain cells. Okay? So when you do physical exercises, it will not only develop the physique that you have, it will not only develop the healthiness of your body systems and organs, but it will also give a power to your brain to process more cognitions, to process more information, and to learn more new skills. Lastly, weakened dendritic connections. What do we mean by this? Sabi niyo po kanina, strengthened neural connections can make the brain change. But ngayon, meron na namang weakened dendritic connections, no? Hindi lahat kasi na nawi-weaken ay masama. Sa brain natin, kapag weak na yung connections ng mga dendrites na yun or ng mga neurons na yun, ibig sabihin, yung connection ng neurons na yun ay hindi na nagagamit. Okay? They are old enough and they are already useless about your thinking systems. So, yung brain natin has the capacity to kill those weak connections of dendrites or neurons. Kasi kapag namamatay yung mga weak na ito, it gives, clearer pathways in the brain to process more information, to learn more new skills. Para lang po yung mga kahoy, no, they conduct pruning, no? So pinuputol po natin yung mga old ng dahon, yung mga sanga na sobrang old na, because when we cut these parts of the trees, may bagong pagsibol ng mga sanga, ng mga dahon. Ganoon din po sa brain natin. Na it kills, those weak connections to give more pathways, clearer pathways for new neural connections. So that's, science, the brain science can tell you that you have the capacity to change. You have the capacity to grow. Because believing that you have the chance to grow and change, it's already important component of your mindset to do better outcomes of your behavior. Okay? So let's be open to changes, because change is possible about our abilities and skills. And we can be open to change by doing a growth mindset. And as I mentioned a while ago, this talk is intended for, our parents, our teachers to foster a growth mindset at your home. So I'll just share you some few tips on how we foster a growth mindset so that we can initiate changes about the mindsets that they have. Okay, the first one, teach children that brains can grow and change. Okay? So yung in-explain ko kanina, explain to them that science says that brain can change. Brains can form other connections of neurons, and these neurons will give them new skills. Brains can produce more neurons, and these more neurons can be used in new skills and abilities. Because when we know that their intelligence, their brain cells are not fixed, they will get motivated to learn more. They will get motivated to face challenging opportunities for them to learn. Monitor the messages given to our children about how abilities are developed. So careful din tayo, be vigilant din tayo sa environment nila. Kasi most of the time, our mindsets, our thoughts, our beliefs to ourselves, beliefs to other people are actually, are actually learned from the environment. For example, yung anak niyo po, lumapit sa'yo, Mommy, can you help me with my math assignment? Tapos, sige, wag na lang math muna, no? Wag na lang math kasi math ulit kanina. Mommy, can you help me with my science assignment, with my assignment in physics? Okay? Tapos sabihin ng mommy, ay, sa daddy ka magpaturo kasi hindi ako talaga magaling sa physics. Okay? Kasi when we use that, you're already claiming na ability for physics, ability for science is fixed. Na kahit tumanda ka, hindi na yun nagbabago. But we can say na, your dad has more strategies, has learned a lot about physics. So he can help you. He can help you more with that assignment. So again, be careful on the messages that we give to them. So the messages should convey a message that their abilities and skills are not fixed, but they have the chances to change. Praise children's processes, not their abilities or not their intelligence. Okay? So you know what? Praising is very important in developing growth mindset, but it matters kung ano po yung pinipraise natin. So growth mindset says that when we praise our children, when we praise our learners, praise the efforts, praise the processes that they have performed. No? So for example, they created the project, a robotic project. So don't say na, ang tali-talino mo talaga, okay? Because that's an intelligence anymore. But praise the strategies, So ang galing ng ginawa mo ditong connections, ang galing ng pag-apply mo ng concept dito sa part ng robot na ito. So that can be helpful na, we have to pay attention pala sa strategies because strategies and efforts will bring them to better outcomes, not the fixed skills and the abilities. Okay? Motivate children with the power of yet. Okay? Ang sarap na i-imagine, no, na pag magbibigay tayo ng report card sa mga bata, tapos sa report card po, instead of failure na yung nakalagay kapag bagsak na po talaga sila, ay nakalagay doon, not yet, no? Nakaka-motivate po yung tignan na instead of failure, nakalagay doon, not yet. It gives them the hope na you can do more. Kasi, you know what, in reality, kung bumagsak naman sa isang subject, we give remedials, we give, uulitin din naman talaga yung subject. And yung process na yon, it actually describes the power of not yet. Okay? It's not a total failure, actually. Okay? So again, the power of yet, the power of not yet is very important na i-describe sa ating mga anak, sa ating mga learners na kapag sabihin nila na hindi ako magaling sa drawing, paano ako magiging arkitekto? So just correct their thoughts na you are not yet good in drawing, so you need more practice to develop that skills in drawing. So that's the power of not yet. Last one, encourage children to embrace failures. It's a cliche that they keep on saying na you learn from failures. Failures are actually not failures because even if you fail, there is still a lesson behind it. There is still a lesson in it. Okay? Kahit nga sa ating mga research studies, no, when you measure the effectiveness of certain intervention, no, kapag na-find out mo na hindi effective yung intervention, it's still a lesson because you found out that that intervention is not helpful sa mini-measure mo na yon. So again, even failures will give you lessons. So let's try to teach our children to embrace failures because when they patiently deal with failures, their hard work, their efforts will create pathways for them to master that certain skill. Okay, so to end this talk, I just want to tell you this very nice quote that behind every child who believes in himself is a parent who believe in them first. Napaka-importante po yung belief natin sa mga yung belief natin sa and trust natin sa mga anak natin. Very crucial po yung mga thoughts natin, yung mga praises natin towards our learners, towards our children, because that's the foundation of their mindsets. Again, thank you very much for listening to another session of Vibal's Learning at Home, and I wish you safe and hopeful days to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Do you have any last reminders to our viewers for today?
Okay, my reminder is still, when we learn at home, when we deal our children, you, our dear parents, as partners of education, partners of learning, let's try to instill the growth mindset because we know that growth mindset will give them the chance and motivation to learn more, grow more, and be more of who they are and what they are. So stay safe and stay healthy.
There we have it. In behalf of Vibal Group Incorporated, I would like to thank our speaker for today for this very eye-opening and insightful learning session. It is an honor to have you with us today, sir. And to all our Vibal viewers, all thanks to you for your continuous patronage to our daily learning session. Don't forget to register to get your e-certificate of participation. The link is in the caption of this webinar. We also encourage you to subscribe and watch on our official Vival Facebook and YouTube channel. Muli, maraming salamat at magandang araw sa ating lahat.